So, because my last name starts with a P, it is between L and R, and I got the sugar article or podcast by the Mayo Clinic, which is by Tarish and Lisa. And just some things to talk about are, they kind of just started off by talking about like how much sugars and things, um, like why isn't that thing, and like they claim that like 70% of our packaged food has some sort of sugar additives. And some reasons for sugar is like a cheap way to get calories because like during a certain time frame, like they just needed it. And then it's easy to make. Sugar is more popular today because of tea and coffee, and it's typically used to counter the bitterness. So like if you go to Starbucks or something like that, it's just like full of sugar. And typically things like candy and chocolate kind of become more popular here and there. I mean, those oftentimes have lots of sugars. And there's three main kinds of sugars that we're talking about, and that kind of match up with what the book says. Added sugars, natural sugars, and artificial sweeteners. Starting with added sugars, it can be found in natural source, or it is found in natural sources like cornstarch, for example. But it's processed and refined and strips all the nutrients out and then it's turned into table salt and corn syrups. And these give sharp rises to blood sugars, invoking insulin responses, and typically follows with a crash. Natural sugars, typically found in whole foods like lactose, sugars, also known as fructose, and other kinds of starches. These will also, like added sugars, increase your blood pressure, but only a tiny bit. And it also comes with stuff like fibers, proteins, and all the other good stuff. Artificial sweeteners, these are just chemical compounds that were created. You don't find these in the natural world at all, but they are found in like diet soda, sugar-free foods, and well, these don't have an impact on blood sugar. I mean, blood pressure. Well, blood sugar too, but like they have their own different effects, such as increased appetite, cravings, because of the chemicals in them, and leading into cravings, which is like a subtopic. Most people generally know how they're going to react to artificial sweeteners, and there's two different, really quote unquote camps of people. And in the podcast, they use an example of a Diet Coke or a soda. If you drink it, you get the required sweetness taste. You leave it there. And then there's some where they feel the need for more because their body anticipated the extra sugars coming in and didn't get that, so now your body's mad at you. What's that? Um, and then these additives have like can include like not just limited to liquids, but solid foods like extra sugars and like normal everyday things, salts, fats. Um, and a point that was made is that we, as a society, got kind of used to those kinds of foods that are high in like the extra sugars, fats, and salts, and sodium and all that. That normal food can taste bland. And just moving into our final like idea topic and like the some of the health impacts of added sugars. So mainly looking at like just artificial sugar, not artificial sugars, added sugars and whatnot. Your heart health obviously increased blood pressure, increased rate of risk of heart disease, Liver health is another big one because what happens is you store excess sugars that turn into fat and can damage liver cells. It can also be addicting. When you eat sugar, it releases dopamine, your feel-good chemical, and can mess with your whole reward system. So like even if like you're not your body doesn't need the sugar, you'll still want the sugar because you had that positive experience with it. Fire those neurons and all that fun stuff. So yeah, that is the let's find it here. The Sweet Truth About Sugar podcast. Thank you for watching. Have a good time.